I'm mentioning this to you, and I'm going to mention to the people in Maryland. Healthcare is too high, and there's a lot of fraud. The video cut off on me, but I was going to say this related to healthcare, and I just found out I had another bill. And I did a previous video about the other bill, which I found out that I had another bill because they sent it. I told them my correct address, and they sent it at my previous address. And then I had to go through all this explaining to the lady I did not receive any of the 3 statements. Now, I received the itemized, which they told me they would send me. But I'm going to say this. Maryland has to do something about their health care. And because Maryland is a sanctuary state, there's no telling how much fraud and how much illegal immigrants are getting free health care, because we know they get free health care. And to have another $400 and some bill, which I had not been receiving, an additional to the $500 and some bill that I already paid in payment plans, which I previously did a video before I had set up the payment plan to pay that. And that was for one day that I went to get looked at one of these eyes who had the pink eye back in September 2025. And unfortunately, nobody seems to want to do anything about health care as far as, and I got into it with a guy the other week because obviously he's on the poverty line and he's thankful for Obamacare. And people have complained about Obamacare. And this guy, I wanted to, and I told him my health care for us working people that can't afford to be on Medicare and Medicaid, which you mentioned he was on one or more of those. And based on what he told me, he didn't have money. I got into it a little bit with the guy, and I kept calm with the guy in the FedEx, a customer. And strangely, the way he was talking, for an older white guy, which openly about his Christian faith. But anyway, a lot of people are so ignorant about what's going on. Somebody look into it. And I would Nick Shirley to come and look into this stuff, or some people that's going to do their job look into the health care in Maryland, because I didn't even spend the night. I just went in there. I don't even think I was there maybe no more than a couple of hours between. I don't think I was in there quite an hour. Within an hour, in and out, without out, waiting room, in and out. To see it's about the pink eye, got prescribed for the pink eye. And unfortunately, because I make too much money to get a decent health care plan, and even with employer, it's still high. And a lot of people are so ignorant of what happened when Obamacare was passed. It made health care higher for the people, the working people, and people don't seem to care about that. And then they had the requirements with the thing in the arm for certain things and somebody got to look into that. I think certain things that people can't get unless they go along with certain procedures. But I'm going to say this, please, somebody who cares, because folks don't seem to care. And I'm in an area run by Democrats. And Democrats were behind that pushing to get that thing released, that Obamacare. And if I tell y'all my strong opinions, I'm not going to get too much to it, but it would be nice if somebody just avoided that additional charge. So you got the $400 and some additional bill, in additional to the $500. That's around $900 and some for me just coming, and I just got to get my eye looked at by a doctor and got prescribed. So you add the $500 and some to the $400 and some, so that's around $900 and some. Because I didn't have money out front to go to a urgent care. And the lady said, it varies if you're having your insurance. Oh, and one lady said, oh, we don't take, because at one time they allowed you to pay some of it there at the time, and then pay some of the another time. So I couldn't go. I went to 2 different urgent cares before I went to the emergency room, which I was suggested by the lady in the urgent care. Oh yeah, they'll bill you later. But they billed me later, much later, for the one they didn't send me. And I had to explain on the phone to the lady I did not receive the other week, towards the latter part of March, that I did not receive the bill. Said you sent me 3 statements. I did not receive one. And I had to make sure they had my correct address. And I shouldn't have to even pay that. And it was about to go to collections. Maryland, you need to do something about this healthcare situation. And I want to go and get, I really want to need Nick Shirley or somebody to do an investigation on the healthcare fraud. Because there's fraud. I'm not going to get into it. Because they've been checking other states. It wasn't just in Minnesota. And let alone me being in the sanctuary state of Maryland. And in the area run by Democrats. Which they seem to talk about, oh, we're all about affordability, but you don't make things affordable. You're always blaming the Republicans, but you don't make things affordable. Make it affordable. And I need an investigation done for the state of Maryland. And please, this is something that somebody needs to run a campaign on, and whoever's in office right now need to look into that and into the fraud. And I got another thing to mention about the fraud about Minnesota. Because did you know? Someone actually found out there was fraud back in about 2015, but then they wanted to went out and get rid of the guy. And then, let alone, Tim Walz come right behind and I'm sure he knew about it. And I think I'm going to leave in the description of this video about that too. Because the YouTuber Hannah Boy's Hungry, he did a video exposing about that too. So y'all need to look into the healthcare for all your states. Anybody's watching this, look into it in all the states. And don't complain about, oh, the president or him is trying to get rid of health care for people. Health care for people that are here illegally. And that affects everybody. And if you talk about people losing their benefits, what about people like me that don't even have health insurance? Oh, I had health insurance for a while. And that elapsed because the insurance was very high. Because insurance is not affordable for people who, unless you're under the poverty line, unless you're really, insurance is very high. Car insurance is very high. And people did mention about how their insurance went up in Ohio because of the situation there. And they posted about it, they shared. Aren't y'all going to look into these things? Politicians in Maryland. I need you to look into, investigate on that, because I'm sure there's fraud in Maryland about healthcare fraud in Maryland. And I need my bill, this $400 and some bill canceled. And if you can give free health care to illegals, and I know they get it in Maryland, because Maryland's a sanctuary state. So my suggestion is somebody look into it, because I'm not asking. I'm not asking for it. I really would like to get it wavered, to cancel it. But I'll do my best to try to pay it, because, I will put my P.O. box on the screen. I accept financial donations, but you don't have to. Chances are, when you watch this video, you don't want to, because I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of people talking about how expensive stuff is, and Democrats blame everything on Trump and the Republicans, when this stuff is because of Democrat policies. You got the illegals, you got the people with the fraud, you got the people with the fraud. And I'm not committing fraud. I actually did receive the bill. I did receive the other bill through the mail the other week while I was out of town, because I went to CPAC. And it got mailed to my apartment complex mailbox. But that's another story. But it's the truth. And I'm going to leave that other video in the description. And people need to investigate it. I would really like somebody to investigate, because Nick Shirley can't do everything. He was one of the speakers at CPAC, but he can't do everything. Him and that other older guy that was hanging with him, they can't do everything. But I will leave that there, and that's it.
Don't forget to check in description for links and my correspondence if I put it there. Sometimes I put a link or more to other content creators' videos that explain in their videos more than I could.